If you look at what's happening in societies today, it's very clear that it's not, we talk about sustainability primarily in terms of environmental health, but the driving forces are actually cultural. They're about how we see the world and putting profit above people and planet and these kinds of things. So the question is, how do we change this? Because this system that we've got seems so completely overwhelming. Your people dreamed of huge factories, tall buildings, as many cars as there are raindrops in the river. Now you begin to see that your dream is a nightmare. How may we make things better? That's simple. All you have to do is change the dream. You need only plant a different seed, teach your children to dream new dreams. That's basically what this whole course is about. It's how do you build a new dream that allows us to change society as a whole. Our goal is actually to use the science to create an integrated vision again of social and economic vitality as well as environmental vitality, because you're not going to get environmental health until you get social and economic health as well. So this other quote comes from sociologist Jared Diamond: "Societies aren't murdered. They commit suicide, they slit their wrists, and in the course of many decades stand by passively and watch themselves bleed to death." If you look around, the question is, are we there yet? Elite power increases and is manifested in displays of wealth. Elites become heavily focused on maintaining a monopoly of power, again, rig the system for their own advantage, and they create harsher penalties for those who they want to keep in line. The middle class shrinks, the gap between the have-nots grows, the standard of living goes down for most people. So this brings us back to why it's helpful to see humanity as a collaborative learning system, because our memes, or how we see the world, largely determines how we live in it. So we can look back through history and find that once upon a time, Western civilization was a very different place because its people viewed the world through a very different lens. Furthermore, Western civilization changed its pattern of civilization by changing its belief before, so presumably we can do so again. So if you look back at medieval society, they believed in God's design, a hidden organizing master plan beneath all that is. They sought to build God's city on earth, a society unified in service to each other and God's design. Knights were to fight for all, clerics were to pray and champion justice for all, and serfs were to till the world of the soil that all might eat. And so as much as we have these horrible visions of feudalism now, because it was the late stage corrupted form, in fact, it started out as a common cause culture working together to survive the Dark Ages and bring civilization out of the Dark Ages. But it did become corrupt, taken over by cleric and aristocratic oligarchies, and as a consequence, modern society envisioned a clockwork universe, a just society built on reason, democracy, the rights of man, and freedom from tyranny. We are now in the corrupted stage of modern visions, so instead of a clockwork universe, which is built on reason and democracy and rights of man. In times like ours, when you're sitting at the gates of hell, the question is, how do you get out of here? You start with building a new dream. You have to engage the society in a higher cause. Is change the dream. All you need, plant a different seed and teach your children to dream new dreams. This is not just an airy-fairy thing. So if you look at the history of the shift from the Dark Ages to medieval society, from medieval corruption to modern society, and now from modern corruption to whatever comes next, a lot of it has to do with engaging a society as a whole in a higher cause. It wasn't just the people at the bottom, or it wasn't just the people at the top. It was people in all walks of life and at all levels who contributed to building a better world. So we now have a clear choice. The question before us is, are we going to spend our lives creating wealth for the few, or are we going to dedicate ourselves to creating a vibrant civilization for all?